Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished guests of all gender, welcome to tonight's Hot Topic episode, where we'll be discussing how to cancel an author. As we know, canceling authors is one of BookTube's favorite pastimes. But what if you're not sure how to participate, how to join in on the fun? Well, that is where I, your host, Shady Shay, comes in handy. Tonight we're going to discuss why people cancel, how they do it, and to what end. And hopefully, by the end, your Twitter fingers will be ready to participate in the great discourse. So first, we have to ask why. Why cancel an author? Did they kill a character that you really liked? Did your favorite ship not make it to the end game, as the youth say? Did this author do a racism, or say a sexism, or tweet a transphobia? Did this author cause mental, emotional, or physical harm to a real human being, not a fictional one? As you can see, these are all a variety of options as why someone would choose to cancel an author. And of course, we don't want to treat an author who accidentally tweeted something that came off as wrong to a small group of people and an author who sexually assaulted people at a conference the exact same way. That'd be silly. So it's important to always know, what is your why? Why are we canceling this author? And also make sure, little asterisk, that you are not canceling an author for something that your fave has already done. I mean, who wants to be the person that says, look, I know anti-Semitism is bad, especially when she does it, but Roald Dahl? Come on, he wrote Matilda, my childhood fave. Check your inner spirit. See if you are calling out another author for something that you ignore as part of your own author's background, because we would never want to be hypocritical. Once we figured out the why, then the next is the how. As in, how are we going to go about canceling? Now, there are some lesser known, less popular options like starting a change.org petition or commenting incessantly on the publisher's Instagram, specifically the publisher that represents that author. You can always take the time-honored telephone tradition, which is not directly addressing the author and their behavior, but instead calling out individuals who either work, are friends with, have dated, or maybe just even are mutuals with this author online. The goal is to isolate them from their entire community and make them radioactive so nobody else will want to support them. But if you don't want to go down that route and you want to go for the more classic time-honored ways, we love an online call-out. Facebook, depending on your age, but Instagram and Twitter, these are the sweet spots. This is the town square you want to stand on your wooden crate and speak the truth. There are a couple ways you can go about this. The first is the subtweet. What's great about this is you can write the most specific tweet you have ever seen, but when someone asks who you're talking about or reference the topic you were talking about, you can back away from confrontation and conversation by saying, this isn't about a specific author, it's kind of just a general thing I've been seeing lately. In addition, if you want to take it a step further, you could say, well, I mean, if the shoe fits or if a hit dog hollers, but this was actually about another separate author that I wasn't even thinking that anybody would know about. The next step up from that is putting their name in the tweet, but censoring out the vowels. I love this one. It has all the flavor of a subtweet, but a slight bit more of aggression. The great thing about censoring out the vowels is that anybody that follows that author or anybody who is searching for that author's name, who ostensibly could be a fan of them, won't find it. Only people who you're already following, only people who know to search for authors with the censored vowels are going to find your post, which means the only people watching it, reading it, liking it will be people that agree with you. And don't we love a safe, warm sense of community online? And then finally, we have the boldest and bravest choice, adding the author directly or tagging them depending on the platform. Now, this is very interesting because it's honestly surprising how often we don't see it. I mean, we all know that people with cartoon version of themselves in their icon or avatar emojis, those people tend to be the bravest. So why they're not actually tagging or calling out these authors directly? Who's to say? Again, it is your platform. Search your spirit, do with it what you will. But remember, if you tag an author directly, there is a chance that they might see it. The internet is not as wide as you think, so feigning shock when someone from that community or that author themselves decides to respond probably isn't a good look when you explicitly went out of your way to make sure they'll see it, regardless of how many followers they have. But once we've moved past the how, we also have to ask ourselves, what? What is the goal? Do you want to make sure you never have to see this author online again? A simple block will do. A successful, sweet, succinct cancellation. Do you want to make sure that no one ever reads this particular book you have issue with? Maybe you name the book. Maybe you rate it low on Goodreads or Storygraph. Maybe in your personal network you warn people about the problematic nature and the behavior of the artist. You could go a step further and say, not only do I not want people to read this book, I don't want people to read any of these authors' books. And anybody who reads any of these authors' books, even if the book in question doesn't have any questionable material, by association, they are therefore condoning whatever was in the other book that you found questionable. You could also take it a step further. Sometimes all people want is for the author to never write again and delete all presence of themselves off the internet. On the flip side, you may want someone, specifically an author, to simply acknowledge that they did something wrong and make a public, heartfelt apology, not too soon that it seems reactionary, but not too late that it seems that somebody else wrote it for them, and make sure to walk the line very carefully moving forward of all online interactions to make sure nothing ever even hints back, gives the whiff of the problematic nature that they exhibited before they gave the apology. Remember, we start with why. Why are we canceling this author? Then we move into the what. What are we going to do about it? What is our goal? What are we trying to achieve with this choice? And then the how. The how is going to be informed by the what. The what will be informed by the why. And again, remember that these people that we're canceling online, they're not like really gonna feel anything about it. I mean, come on, like they're rich, they're famous, they write books, their average Goodreads rating is a 4.1. Like, whatever we do online as a huge collective amongst an individual doesn't really have much of an effect. I mean, some people would argue that canceling isn't real. Unless, of course, you are an author of color, an author that's part of the LGBTQ community, or in any way a marginalized and small creator who doesn't have the entire system working behind them. But again, this is all just extra fluff, just footnotes in your courageous journey to fight for the real issues, fight for the little guy, and make sure that your engagement, your interpretation of, your perception of the entire booktube landscape, it's perfect as it is. And so all I'm here to do is to kind of give you some stepping stones, help you figure out how you want to navigate, and so you can have the most clear, concise, and comprehensive cancel that anyone could ever imagine. I'm Shady Shay, and that was tonight's episode of Late Night Hot Takes, and I will see you next time. Bye.